The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Hello and welcome back to Joy with Julie. This is where we talk about joy, optimism, and you. We're so happy to have you listening in. We like to share things that we can make sure our listeners relate to and that you can always have something to take away to live a life of positivity and joy. Today we have Jennifer Cohn, English professor of Bunker Hill, Easton resident, and my bestie. Welcome, Jen.
Hi, thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be so good. You're definitely a bright light that you spread positivity and joy, and I like to think of this as a way of you being an English professor, me being a teacher for 25 years. This is just a way where I teach people some of the things that I know, and I bring on people that also have good things to share. So we're just going to have conversation and talk about some things. You ready?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Let's go.
So what I know for me, I've been commuting to Providence with my son. I'm going to talk about a win because he just started private school and 10 rides back and forth to Providence in the last couple of weeks. Well, yesterday I started a carpool.
Nice.
So definitely super helpful. Now I only have to do 5 rides to Providence.
All right.
Yeah. But it is so worth it, the things we do for our children. He loves it. Yes. He has friends. He's living his best life as a 10th grader.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah. How did your girls adjust to going back to school?
They did pretty well. I have a senior at Oliver Ames, and then I have a sophomore at Oliver Ames too. So they're just adjusting to homework and,
yes,
the new challenges of being, in the new grade levels and stuff. So
yeah, and expectations of new teachers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an adjustment.
So, but it's going pretty well. Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back into the routine of things, right? It's always.
What are you doing for yourself?
Texting.
As a routine, are you able to squeak anything in?
I am. So I do a tap class on Saturday mornings at Mass Arts Center. It's a great adult tap class for anyone to join. And the group of women who do the class with me is amazing. They're amazing. The instructor, Dory, she's amazing too. If you're ever looking to do any type of, exploring dance again or acting, and they have several classes that they run throughout there, and some really great shows that are there all the time. I've done some plays and musicals there. Perform there. So it's been a real joy in my life to find that again.
Nice. I've met Dory and she has an amazing energy.
She's the best.
Yeah.
She's
great.
She's the director over there, the artistic director over there. So she's
creative type.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. So you're dancing on Saturdays.
I'm dancing on Saturdays. I'm tapping on Saturdays.
I love it.
And I'm going on sabbatical in the spring.
Ooh.
So that means I get to do some deep diving to some research for my department, and I also get a break from commuting in 2 days a week, which is it's nice that I only have to go in 2 days a week,
right? And
it's nice that the commuter line is only 20 minutes away for us in Canton Junction, so that's usually a smooth commute every day or twice a week, but I'm really blessed to have the schedule and flexibility that I do. Commuting, I was doing 4 days a week pre-pandemic, and that was sort of a grind, at the end of it all.
And that work-life balance is so important, right?
Oh my God.
Juggling all the things.
So important. But even having that time when you're commuting, or you get, a chance to talk and reconnect with Anthony when you're driving back and forth, Oh,
for sure. I'm so appreciating my time with my 15-year-old in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I was the one that got to pick him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. Some people were like, "You're doing what?" And it's like, but I have this 15-year-old that he and I kind of have to connect because we're right next to each other. It gives us that time.
Yeah.
It's special because I like your Ella turned 18 today, right?
Oh my gosh.
And she's a senior.
And the mom of an 18-year-old. How is that possible?
Right. And my Jace is 18 and he's living his life. And yeah, I think you can't really be prepared for this. Like nobody tells us what it's like in their teenage years when so much of your life was like you were all about them and now they're figuring out their own independence, right?
Yeah.
And breaking away.
Yes,
right?
Very much so. And even with my younger daughter, Abby, who's 15, she's doing the Jimmy Walk with her dance team in October. And she's doing the half marathon. So that's 13 miles.
Amazing.
And she dances like 4 days a week. She'll go up to 5 pretty soon. So she's been competitively dancing at Dance Express for, maybe 6-7 years now. So she's in shape and she's fit, but I'm still making her walk. I put her on
I saw you the other day.
I put her on a schedule. So that gives us time actually to have time to walk and just chat, which we don't, always get to do with our busy lives.
And the one-on-one time is really important, right?
Very important. And I think if you don't carve it out, if you don't plan for it, it doesn't happen. Yeah. Especially in busy households.
And I imagine what you're able to talk about with her is easier when you're side by side and walking, doing the walk and talk, as opposed to like in your house if you tried to have certain conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And, we actually recounted for her the time when I did the AIDS ride when I was 26 or so. Back in 2000 from Boston to New York. I rode my bike for 3 days. Well, my husband's bike, really. That was such an experience that I don't know if I had shared with her, but we were talking about it and all going back to the fact of, I messed up my knee when I did that. So I had to go and get some like physical therapy afterwards and stuff. So I was just telling her, I'm like, that's why it's important to train. Yeah. That's why we're walking and we're going to make sure that your body's like ready for going out and walking 13 miles, which she could do. She's 15. She's in good shape. She's athletic and everything. But even still, you want to make sure you take care of your body. I want to try and instill that in my kids.
And as moms, don't we want our kids to be okay?
Yes, of course.
We want to try to prepare them and make sure they know what to expect.
Yeah. And I think like you got to go in on that too, because if I just gave her a schedule and say, here, go walk, and follow this, I'm like, I'll train with you. I'll do this with you. Not doing the walk on the day, but I'm training with her. I think you have to, you got to commit to those things too. When you say to them, let's do it together, I think it becomes less of a burden or a chore, and it becomes more of a time when you can bond and connect with people. So
Right. I love it. So your Ella is 18 today.
18. It's amazing.
She is such a bright light.
She really is.
Yeah, both your kids are amazing, It's
you.
Funny how we can raise 2 kids in the same family under the same roof and they are their own people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it was so weird when we moved in together. Like we moved about a month apart from each other, next door to one
12
another.
Years ago.
You had 2 boys, I have 2 girls, and it's like, they're close in age and just having those different experiences of them growing up.
Right.
And how different it is, right? For every kid.
Yes.
For every teen, for every adult. Oh my God, I have an adult in the house. I have an adult and a teen. Make sure there's still red wine somewhere in there for us. That reminds my dog. I think you need a dog. You need a pet
to calm it down.
To calm it down. Yeah. To bring that balance to things. That brings me joy every day.
Dogs are amazing, and I didn't have a dog growing up because I was allergic. So we do get the hypoallergenic dog, and dogs really are amazing. My Teddy passed away in July very unexpectedly.
He's a good boy.
And I miss him. I found myself like not appreciated the puppy as much, Rico,
Mhm.
because of my love and bond with Teddy. So I have flipped it
Mhm.
because I have to be better at that. It's not his fault.
I
The
know.
firstborn
Yeah.
dog died, right?
Yeah.
So I am appreciating his curiosity, his puppiness, his love and affection for us. Like,
Mhm.
to walk in the door when you have teenagers who don't greet you like children used to, right? But for
Mhm.
that dog to give you that unconditional love and let you know, like, oh, I'm so happy to see you.
They're so great, and many of my students, I teach a class at night tonight, actually, virtually. And it's a great class to teach because I feel like I bond so much with my students. And there's always something, because we're all at home trying to do this class on top of their full-time workers and their parents and everything, and they have multiple responsibilities. So, but oftentimes there's pets that make it into the camera sometimes.
Oh, I love
and
it.
So cats and dogs and fish and everything else in between, lizards. I mean, you've had them all, guinea pigs.
I know. My youngest is an animal lover.
But that's important,
So
I think.
It makes, because they're family members,
They
right?
are.
And that's
They are.
a emotional therapy pet for most of the people that own pets, right? Like
Mhm.
it gives them what they need.
Yeah.
Especially with life is just a lot these days. So I have a question. Now that you're a dog owner,
Mhm.
right? Because you've had your dog for 2 years?
4 years.
4 years? Oh my
He's
gosh.
4 in
That went by
August.
fast.
Yeah.
Holy moly. So he was just 4?
He just turned 4 in August.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh my Lord. Okay. So now that you've had your dog, right? Are you able to maybe not see it as a nuisance? Like in 2020, when you adjusted to online, were you maybe annoyed if somebody had a dog in the camera? Or like, do you feel like it helped you like see it a little differently? Or you always loved
I
pets
always
and
loved
animals?
having the dog.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
never was like a nuisance or anything. And my students appreciate it, and they appreciate the moments when I get interrupted or things happen because it really humanizes it for everybody. It's like, oh, the professor's having the same kinds of issues that I'm having right now, right? And so it helps to make this relationship, grow because you want them to be able to trust you. And it's a writing class, so sometimes you get into personal things, and I always tell them, I'm like, share what you want, but share what you want to do, not anything more than that. So
Right.
but we hold close to our writing, I think, and people get very sensitive around it sometimes, and it's very personal sometimes, even if it's not on a personal topic. It's hard to take constructive criticism when it comes to those things, right?
Okay.
And I always tell people, I'm like, it's not a judgment on you, it's a judgment on how things are written. So, and there's always room to revise. And I think that's a good mantra to kind of live your life by. It's like, you might not always get it right the first time,
Right.
but there's room for revision.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And
with most things.
And it's hard to fail, Jen. It's hard.
Well, we fail
to
all the
screw up.
time, though.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's hard to screw up. It's hard to show up after you've messed things up. And it can be hard to fail, for some of us. I mean, who the heck wants to be the one that I really thought this was going to go this way, but it didn't.
I know. I mean, I have students all the time who will want to submit things to me early and be like, can you look at it? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, why? Because it needs to be perfect the first time you send it in. And where does that stem from? Our needs for perfection. Don't allow ourselves to fail, but that's really how we learn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for all of us, I fell my first tap class, right down on the ground, But what do? You pick yourself back up again, and you're like, okay, that's a fun story to tell people when they feel like they're struggling. I'm like, I fell my first class, I mean, so it just, you bring humor to it. I think it's
so important, to laugh things off and not take things so seriously.
Oh, yeah. If there's one thing I learned from my dad, that was it. He always went into a room and tried to make people feel better about themselves and just be lighthearted and, don't take yourself too seriously in this lifetime.
Your dad was a special person.
He's great.
That's a great message to take away from him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good lesson.
Totally.
Yeah. And those people that are in your life that sometimes we take for granted because that's just who we know them for.
Right.
But those people that are those light spreaders, those people that just like bring up the energy vibe, they're really important.
Yeah. And I think it's important to know that and to say that to people when you find those moments, those teachable moments, right? Where you can compliment people, or you can give them that. It's amazing to see just even the change on their faces when you do something, just a little something for them, or you give them a compliment. It changes their whole perspective on things, right?
So I taught elementary school for 25 years, and I was playing pickleball yesterday, and it's so funny because of the way I was for 25 years. Like, that was me every day, 5 days a week. I was an encourager. Like, that's what you do with little kids. Like you're like, all right, yeah, you got that. Like, good thinking. Like, it's just who I am. So when I'm out in life, I compliment people. And it's so interesting to see how surprised or unexpected it is for people. Like, they're just not used to getting compliments. But if it's like in your nature, it was just in my nature because that's what you do as an elementary school teacher.
I've been noticing that my youngest, Abby, has been complimenting people if we're just out in the store, if we're out like having lunch somewhere, if we're, anywhere at all, somebody she's never met before, she'll be like, I like your tattoo. That's a pretty necklace. Your hair's very pretty. Like, she's very intentional about paying a compliment to people now when she first meets them. And it really is kind of nice to see people's reaction to it. They're like, oh, thank you. They don't expect that coming from her. But I've noticed that a lot lately. And I don't know where it's coming from, because I wasn't one to be like, why don't you compliment people more? It's just like something that she's doing.
Do you
really
think
nice.
that positive affirmation is her love language, so it's easy for her to give it?
Could be. It's
Maybe.
very true.
And as a teenager, you're figuring out who you are, right? And like where you fit. So maybe she likes how it feels when she gives people those compliments.
Yeah, and
right?
she loves receiving them too. So
and she's such a sweet kid.
Yeah,
she is so kind-hearted and just so sweet.
She's got a good heart.
Yeah,
got a good heart. Very artistic, incredibly flexible. I don't know how. I used to think I'm flexible, and then I had my daughter, and I was like, no, I'm not even close.
Right? That's awesome. I've seen her bent in all these pretzel poses.
She's like a mini contortionist in the making, really. I mean, she follows some people on like YouTube or TikTok and everything. So it's fascinating to see. Her dance team like cringes sometimes when they see her get into some poses, and they're like, it's amazing. Do you have a spine? It's amazing. Right. Really.
Speaking of YouTube and TikTok, so Jace, my oldest, went to New York City this weekend. So he went to New York City with a friend. He drove there. He stayed in Jersey with a family member. I've gotten a couple of stories afterwards because he came home Sunday night, right? So 2 18-year-olds head out to New York, and one of them so the friend he brought had only been there once, and that was with us. So Jace has been there 1 to 2 times a year. Yeah. So he kind of knows how to navigate it a bit. But this was a time he went without his parents, right?
Yeah.
So he comes back, and Sunday night he's given us some stories. Last night he gave me some more, showing me these TikTok videos. So him and his friend got in influencers videos because they're in New York, and of course they met famous people. And they're like, we met these famous people, and so they met these influencers. There were these 2 guys with like wigs on. They're dancing. The boys are dancing. They're like in it doing their thing. They looked like they were meant to be in the videos. It was so cool to see my just graduated high school kiddo, my firstborn, living his best life.
That's great.
Driving himself to New York, like just so cool to see them capable and enjoying life,
Yeah. And just not being afraid, because New York is like, can be overwhelming, can feel overwhelming. Right? I mean, it's a grid. You can get around pretty easily. And now that Google Maps does the subway, I don't get lost anywhere.
Right.
Because I can't figure out the subway system there. But I love New York.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that brings me joy is like getting to go to shows and everything. I'm going in a couple of weeks for a conference, and then I'm sneaking in a couple of shows when I'm there.
Yeah. Because you can.
Yeah. But I'm really excited because Hamilton has Leslie Odom Jr., who's reprising his role as Aaron Burr. He won the Tony for it and everything. So he's back performing, and I'm going to see the show. I bought a single ticket. I'm like, I'm going on Saturday.
Fabulous.
I cannot
How fun.
wait. It's just that show, that musical kind of started my whole quest to try and do musical theater again and do more of creative outlet stuff.
That was the catalyst for you.
It was.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Started me out on my whole journey of loving Lin-Manuel Miranda and everything he does.
But you find joy in performing and being on stage, and you
I
do
do.
really well in the musicals
I do.
and the
Thank you.
shows you've been in.
I like to have fun on stage, and I love comedy. I love musicals, and I just did the Scottish play last fall, and it won some accolades. So it was a very exciting time. And the people that you meet, too, are really great in community theater because it's not their full-time gig. They've got other stuff like going on during the day. But everyone comes together to kind of do this creative piece and have meaning and purpose behind it. And they're just the best people. They're just so creative and so fun. And it's so great to, call myself a part of that community. So
That does sound fun.
it is.
Yeah.
It's really great.
And you get to be with a bunch of creative types. What
Yeah.
could be more fun than that? I love creative people.
I mean, just in meeting people every day, right? It's just you open yourself up to what new adventures can I get into. So
Makes sense.
Fun.
Makes sense. So traveling, you mentioned traveling when we just
Love
talked
it.
about New York. That is definitely something that brings me joy.
yes,
Yeah. I need to save my
you
money
did a
so I
big
can
travel
plan.
this summer.
I need to save my money so I can plan my next trip for 2026.
Yeah. No, I mean, going to Tuscany and
3 weeks in Europe was
and
amazing.
Portugal. What was the best part of that trip for you?
So it was interesting because it was like 2 vacations and 1 big vacation. Because the first 10 days I was with 2 close girlfriends, and then my boys flew in on day 11 and stayed for 10 days.
That's nice.
So the first 2 weeks, the first week and a half without the kids, it was just three of us women. We did Tuscany. What I loved about Tuscany was it wasn't crowded. The apartment that we stayed in was right there, so we walked to any of the restaurants and places that we went to. But we also had a tour to a vineyard, which was really neat. And I learned about the whole process of wine, and now I have a great appreciation for like what it takes for 1 bottle of wine to get to your table. Yeah, really.
Right.
I had no idea. So that was eye-opening, and that was neat for me to learn. We did a cooking lesson in a restaurant, which was so neat. We met the owner of a restaurant that was out there. We ended up eating there a total of 3 times because it was incredible. The pasta al forno, which is like smoked spaghetti.
Smoked.
Yeah, it had like smoked bacon in it, and
nice.
gives you this little teeny
that
shot
sounds
of
good.
vodka
I'm
that you
hungry.
put on it. And,
Yep.
it had cheese in it, and it was so good. So good. But I loved the story behind it because actually, getting back to dogs, the owner of the restaurant had his dog Marley, and I wanted to see the dog because I missed my dogs. So I end up, getting to cuddle with the dog. I had the dog on my lap. That was all good. We get to talking to this owner, and he assumes that we're there because of the book, the story that was written about Tuscany, the movie.
Yeah.
Under the Tuscan Sun.
Under the Tuscan Sun.
Yeah. So, and I was like, no, I haven't seen that. So I had bid on and won that vacation on at our We Do Care Gala in one of our auctions. So anyway, we're talking with the owner, and he tells us the original recipe that they use for this pasta al forno originated in Boston. Yeah, there was this event, and there was a lot of people together, and then the event was over, and people were hungry. So this chef, there wasn't any food. She used what she had, and she came up with this dish. So
that.
his recipe of it came from an event that happened in Boston, and it was an Italian person that was the chef. So I thought that was really neat. And it just proves that when you make a connection with someone, whatever it is, they can open up and share a story with you, right? And kind of like let you in a little bit. Kind of like you said with the writers that you meet in your English classes, right? Like your own stories are personal, But when you meet someone that you can trust or you feel comfortable with, like you can open up and share them. And it just kind of feels good to make connections and meet people.
Right. And anytime you can talk about food, it's a good thing. But my dad was like a chef. He was a cook, you know. I mean, he should have been. He wasn't. He was like always around food and always around the kitchen. But one of those types of like chefs who could go in and there'd be a bunch of leftovers and he could just put stuff together, no measurements involved, like where you would figure it out. But whatever he would create would be amazing, you know, to eat. And he could probably make his own signature dish one way around there. But
and food was love for him, right?
Food
like
was love.
He
Absolutely.
fed you because he loved you and he wanted you to be well fed with his love and care that he put into cooking.
That was his creative outlet. He used to always joke and say, like, I can't believe you're an English professor. I can't believe you're majoring in English. He's like, I can't write it. Meanwhile, he would write like he would help my mom write all of her speeches for her women's organization and everything. I said, Dad, you know, you do have that.
Right. He didn't know he had the aptitude because it wasn't where he saw himself.
Right.
Maybe.
His creative outlet was definitely in the kitchen.
Your dad could dance too.
He was a dancer. Yes. He probably wouldn't fall the first time of his tap classes. But he was just full of life. But that's what he knew would bring other people joy. Mm-hmm. And he used to do this Godfather routine all the time too, where he would have like these sunglasses he'd put on and he, you know, have like the real thick Italian accent and everything. And my dad was Polish and German, so he was a bit, you know, Italian.
Right.
But he used to make my family members laugh so hard just doing like those routines. So things that I think we were talking about this on the way over about like we find joy in our own lives, but there's somewhat of a sense of responsibility being moms and daughters and wives and whatever that we feel we're somewhat responsible for helping others find joy too, right? It's just something that you do. I think sometimes you find joy by helping others find joy, right?
I know, I definitely do. Yes.
So you are that person too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think women being the one that takes care of a lot of things, we're the nurturer, we're the lover, we make sure that things happen, right? We bring the magic. And men, they have so much to offer, but like we're like softer, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that sometimes we might forget that everyone is responsible inwardly of their own happiness, right?
Yeah.
Like we can make our own self happy. And I think sometimes we need to be reminded that we have to sneak in the tap class or give ourselves 5 months to be able to be in a performance if that's what brings us joy, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, kickboxing is an outlet.
Yeah.
My charity work that I do, that gives me a lot. Like I feel good when I'm doing that and I'm serving others. And connecting with people. Like I'm a natural teacher, so I like to do these podcasts because I'm hoping that someone will learn something, right? Mm-hmm. That will help them make life a little bit easier. And the other thing is just COVID for a couple of years, it locked us in our own space without people. So I am so appreciative of all the times I get to be in person with people.
Yeah.
It's really, really what just like levels up my energy. I went to a networking event last night for the Easton Chamber, and to see people in person, talk to them, share a beverage, eat some food, find out what their business is doing, how their life is going. It just feels good in person.
Mm-hmm. It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on today. I hope that
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. Hope you have a wonderful time celebrating your daughter's 18th birthday today.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, we'll probably go and have some good food.
I hope she gets ice cream.
She will get an ice cream cake. We're doing it this weekend. We're doing a bigger celebration because I have to teach tonight. So.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Joy with Julie. We hope you learned something about living a life with positivity. Take care.